All right. Well, good morning to everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Shared it with their family and friends. I did. And happy holidays to everybody. Okay. We're in that season once again. Okay. Um, I'm going to start off with our affiliate spotlight, which is Maria Howard this morning, and we'll go from there. Maria, the floor is yours.
Well, good morning, CB George. I hope everybody's doing well. Like Ruben indicated, I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving time with your family and friends. And it's always so nice to get together and sit at a table and enjoy a great meal and forget about the calories and laugh, right? Who doesn't love that? So, a little bit about myself. I was kind of going back and forth, you know, totally business, but I realized that this business more than anything is really about the relationship and connecting with people and letting them know who you are, what you're about, helps build the bridge of a relationship. As realtors, you go out in the field and you're looking for listings and people to represent in a transaction, and they interview lots of agents, and they make a decision. I'm going to work with you for this transaction or whatever their needs are. And you're competing about other realtors who are equally as talented and have a plethora of background information. So, what makes you stand out? What makes you different? What makes them want to choose you? Well, I believe that the personal touch and relating to people to me is what helps me in my business. I look for ways to connect with you, to talk about you, to get to know you, what your interests are, and build a bridge between what you are personally about and I'm personally about. And I think everybody in this business always remembers stories. Stories are a huge caveat. I can come here and reiterate all the jargon, home warranty, this and do's and don'ts or whatever, but most likely you won't remember a thing I said once this meeting is concluded. But you will remember the conversation we had this morning about who I am. Well, to me, people are important. They're the most valuable commodity in life. When you're surrounded with people who love and give and do unexpected things, you remember those special touches in your lives. And that's what I have carried in my business. I am a people person, and I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. I love to get to know you and your backgrounds and who you are and what you do and what's important, because that helps you remember who I am. So that makes you remember, I remember that girl Maria. She ran a lot of crazy miles. She does some amazing cuckoo things. And I love to see her pictures on Facebook about her grandson, my little heart, my Enzo, who I just adore and love. And there isn't anything I wouldn't do for my children like you wouldn't do for your kids. I've been servicing the real estate community for 43 years. Out of those 43 years, I have serviced tons of realtors in escrow transactions and natural hazard transaction and now in home warranty. But I can tell you this, the one thing I walked away from this business was is some amazing friendships and people I've get to know, stellar people, people that really stand by their word and really make you feel special when you're in their presence. So to me, business is all about the person. So if you can remember that going forward for us till the end of the year, do something super extraordinary and different. Reach out to somebody today that could use a smile and a hug, and I promise you, they'll remember you the next time they need your services. So I am so grateful for being here. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me to speak to you and make this holiday season even better. God bless everybody.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, just to add to what she just discussed her bullet points, you really need to find a way to shine aside from your competition. But most importantly is just staying in touch with your sphere of influence, your contacts, your past clients. Just just reaching out and saying hi. And what better time to do that as the holidays, right? You have a reason to do that. So make sure that they're thinking of you first before anybody else. Okay, at least be in that conversation. So that I think aside from, setting yourself aside, knowing, being a good person and knowing the knowledge of what's going on, in our industry, but most importantly is just keeping in touch with them, So, all right, thank you, Maria, for that. Appreciate it. Let's move on. Sandy Franco, good morning. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Happy Monday, Coldwell Banker George Realty. Hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Maria is so right. It is all about the relationships, and I've been buddies with Maria Howard for a decade now. So go figure that, right? Because you can be competitors and you can still be friends, right? There's enough business for all of us. There is, Maria and I have been doing this for a long time together, with each other and against each other, and it's all good. The agents that want to take this to the next level, if you guys want to reach out to me, I'll sit down with you and let's go over our personalized marketing materials that are free and see what we can't do to help you increase your business in 2024. I'll dump my info into chat and let's see what we can't do for the next year. Okay? Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Sandy. Mark Wu, be careful. I know you're driving.
No, I'm pulling over now. So good
I know you
morning,
have-
everybody.
I know you have good auto insurance, but we don't want any wrecks.
Absolutely. Going into another meeting, but I wanted to make sure I jump on in person. Thank you guys for your continued support. I'm extremely grateful, not only in the Thanksgiving season, but throughout the year. Just a word of caution to many. We're going into the Christmas season, a lot of break-ins, a lot of thefts of packages off your doorsteps, a lot of thefts from cars. This tends to be something that is horribly considered in the insurance industry. And so, for those of you who have a listing, or even if you have your own policies, when you're calling in a theft claim for $500, to $1,000, I would suggest you don't put that in, because it's a strike against you. It's a strike against your sellers. And when it comes up, it could prevent you from, or your buyers from getting home insurance. So I know that insurance is there to replace what you've lost, but when it's a minor claim or a minor theft loss, my advice in this crazy crisis market right now is to consider just eating that. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks, Mark.
Mark?
Yes, sir.
Most of the homeowners on insurance don't cover jewelry or watches and stuff, right?
They do cover jewelry and watches. What it is in the event of a theft, it is a large personal content limit. So many times your content limits are hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's covered under theft, but fire. But when it's theft, there is a limitation. Oftentimes, company put $1,000 limit.
Yeah, that's only $1,000.
Yeah, so it has to be scheduled. So what I've told, Peter, you own a lot of Rolexes and high-end watches. So I advise clients like that, ask your jeweler to insure that outside your homeowner policy. That way it doesn't affect your homeowner policy. Oftentimes you get a better rate anyways, because they're in the business of that. Yeah. So high-end jewelry is something that I often, in the past I used to insure it. Now I'm advising them to insure it outside, just because, as you know, claims on your policy is not a good thing in this market. I understand that the insurance commissioner, they just closed the session where they were trying to achieve some availability, and so the next meetings they won't have till the first part of next year. So, but I still think it's going to be a very challenging to navigate through insurance right now. So, be proactive is what I'm telling my road.
Yeah, it's interesting that the homeowner policy covers the Birkin bags and the Chanel bags. I mean, but when it comes to jewelry, they only cover up to $1,000.
Well, the reason why for that is it's often it's often the thing that gets stolen, held up, and all that. You know, people see. You know, I've had so many clients get even myself. I had a person approach me and stole it with a knife when I was much younger at the Bonaventure.
Ooh,
You know, so it happens.
yeah. And now the IRS would not cover theft. Or no, it's not
Well,
tax deductible anymore.
I thought it was, but
No,
maybe.
it wasn't. Starting from 2017, it's no longer.
Oh gosh.
So I hate to say that.
So you're
Hey,
screwed either way, huh?
Yeah, it's going the way. Exactly, right.
Mark, I have a quick question. If an
Sure.
agent needed a quote from you for a buyer, how fast can you get that to make sure that the buyer will be able to obtain insurance on the property that they are going to be making an offer on?
It really depends on so many variables, but you know, it could be a quote as quick as 1 day to as late as 3 weeks. So I just tell clients, I mean, buyer agents, to make sure that they're being proactive and you know, so if there's no issues, they're not close to brush area and all that, it's oftentimes a 24-hour proposal. If it's a high value home, then we're talking about up to a 10 day proposal. One thing that I just got asked in another meeting is, hey, Mark, are some insurance companies asking for the appraisals? I'm sorry, not appraisals, but for the inspection report. And that is something becoming very common. I don't automatically give it until it's asked. And normally when it's asked is when something flags, you know, somehow the underwriter has found something, whether it's trees overhanging a house or they see something where the fascia or the roofing is not good, and then they'll ask for the inspection report. But have that handy as well, because everything we can give, whether it's pictures of the exterior as well as the inspection report, will help expedite the binding ability of a policy.
Okay, good. Worst case, they could always go with California Fair Plan, right?
That is correct. And Fair Plan is a 2 to 5 day process. If it's on the brush, it's much longer. And remember, the Fair Plan, the difference in the Fair Plan versus a regular one is that the Fair Plan, that your buyers have to prepay the policy, whereas other policies that I present and other agents present, it's paid by escrow after the closing.
Oh, got it. I see. So that's gotta be paid prior to the closing then.
That's correct. And one thing, so some banks are not now, except I just heard a report this morning. I haven't confirmed it. I haven't run against it, but they're saying that some banks are not accepting the Fair Plan.
Is California Fair Plan considered a substandard or is it a standard?
It's considered neither, but because it is a state-run organization. I'm sorry, it's not a state. It's all the insurance company putting it in. So it's considered standard. The problem is that it doesn't cover water damage, and many lenders require that as a part of their requirements to fund a loan.
Right. All right. Well, I thank you, Mark. And if any of our agents have any questions, please feel free to contact Mark. Reason why I brought it up is because Peter and I were talking about it this morning, and according to current statistics from CAR, 7% of escrows this past year they fell out of escrow due to insurance issues and stuff. So
Wow.
if you have,
That's-
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't think it's going to get any better moving into 2024 unless the insurance issues change. But at the very least, if you have a buyer and you're going to be making an offer, contact whether it be Mark or whoever you're using for insurance and start the process to make sure that they're going to be able to acquire insurance for that property that you're going to be making an offer on. Don't wait till the last minute and you just wasted all your time and your buyers and sellers time, after 30 days and then it falls out. So try to be proactive, like Mark was saying, and do your due diligence for your buyer. Your buyer is your client, so you don't want to waste their time and deposit as well. So contact Mark or your insurance person and get the ball rolling. Okay. Thank you, Mark. Always a pleasure.
Likewise. Blessings.
All right, let's move on. Andrew, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, CBG. Angie Tang, First American Title. I'm so glad to see you guys again. Happy Thanksgiving. I missed you guys for the Thanksgiving luncheon. I was on a family cruise for 3 days, for just a 3-day weekend. So I'm back, but I caught a cold. So fabulous. But I wanted to let you guys know, one of our major competitors, they've been compromised with a data breach. So if there are any files pending and they're not able to close, please give me a call. There's a way that hopefully I can try to get them closed for you quickly. They're not able to close anything because they've been having a data breach and it's been compromised. So if that is one of your files, please let me know. I'll try to help you as much as I can to get that closed for you and your clients. I've been getting a lot of calls right now with the holidays about special recordings. So just as a reiteration, LA County does not have special recordings. There's no specials at all. They record 8 a.m. daily. And how it works is that we have to submit all the recording documents 5 p.m. before the night before it comes to record the next day. So it's always, 5 p.m. day in the rear to record at 8 a.m. the next morning. So that's LA County. Majority of all of our files are from LA County. Orange County does have special recordings, and that cutoff time is 3:30. Riverside is at 2:30, and then San Bernardino 2:30, San Diego 2:30, and Ventura is at 11:30. If you guys need a copy of all the special recording timelines, please let me know. I can send that over to you, and you can keep that so that you have a knowledge about when the recordings are going to be. Any other questions, please let me know. I'm here to help you grow your business and insure it. Angie Tang, First American Title. Thank you. Thanks, Ruben.
Thanks, Angie.
Thank you,
I'm glad
Angie.
I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better.
It's a nasty phlegm cough.
All right. Well,
Thank you so much.
nothing that some spiked eggnog won't make you feel better.
Yeah, or a hot toddy.
Hope
All
your kid
right.
is not catching it, Angie.
Oh yeah, she actually gave it to me.
Oh, she gave it to you. Oh.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Also, Angie has a very good, powerful tool. It's Ignite RE. So if any agent is not using that, contact her and she'll set you up on that. I use it pretty much, on a weekly basis and stuff. So check it out. Ignite RE. Thank you, Angie. All right, let's move on to Frank Delgadillo. How are the rates looking today?
Hey, all right. Thank you so much, Ruben, Peter, everybody else. It's a happy post-Thanksgiving. You have a lot of tamales and the turkey and the panza effect right now. Rates are doing great. Actually, I mean, I have been able to even do something in the high 6s to low 7s, just depending if they want to pay half a point or not. So it's doing amazingly well. It's just a matter of, that one rate is not for everybody because not everybody has the same credit score. So if you're 620 or 790, there's big differences, but everyone has to be, everyone has its own particular situation. So it's a matter of just, speaking with each other, we can make sure we get rates right for you. I had a conversation with someone that they were saying, hey, why can't I get a 5-year fix or a 3-year fix? That should be cheaper. And the reality is that if you're going to get a 3-year fix, you're also going to want to refinance in a couple of years. And also stockbrokers don't like those 3-year fixes because it's a high turnover. So sometimes that rate is higher than a 30 because that's the most stable one. So it's a matter of just looking at seeing what is going to fit for you, right? With that in mind, one thing I wanted to share is just that I've been reading this book called Fanatical Prospecting. And I think it's a great one because look, it's what we need to do every day, prospect and talk to people. And the more you prospect, the luckier you get. And when you look at the 3 laws, it's you read it, you're gonna be like, and it's not fun, but you make it fun. So that's my way of how I can help you guys grow your business. Read that book, Fanatical Prospecting. I love it. You'll love it too.
Yeah, it's all about prospecting, right? Picking up that phone or the text, right? Emails, whatever, however you want to prospect.
And honestly, if you can just do it over the phone in person, it's the best way because that's going to set you different than everybody else. Anybody can always hide behind the text. Anybody can always send an email. And who reads emails nowadays? I mean, look at direct mail. We used to get it 30, 40 years ago. Do you read your direct mail? No. Throw it away. But if your agents do it, along with the phone call, along with door knocking and door dropping things, all those little things are going to say, hey, I saw Alex come by my street. He dropped me off something, and I have him walking down. I'm gonna call Alex. I'm gonna call Marcy. I'm gonna call, Gus, and see what's going on. And if they get that phone call from them, hey, I saw your stuff. This is great. Let me help you, or
Right.
let's do something together. It's awesome.
It's also about being consistent and doing it on a regular basis, not just one time and say, okay, well, that person, monthly, every other month, or whatever. Every prospect or person in your sphere of influence has a different criteria as far as how much you contact them, but do it on a consistent basis, right, Frank?
Yeah. Read the book, because the book says about, it's about the law of need, the 30-day rule, and the law of replacement. And sometimes you get really good with your work. You start getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 deals, and then you don't have anything else for the next 30, 40 days. Why? Because you didn't replace that time and you didn't consistently prospect. It's hard. But look, we're human. We eat, chew, walk, talk, eat, breathe, look, see, smell, all at the same time. If we can master that, we can master an hour and a half of making phone calls. That's only an hour and a half.
Yep.
And the book is called Fanatical Prospecting. I saw someone put it in the chat. Fanatical Prospecting. Buy it on an audiobook. I think it's like $3 on a credit or something.
Awesome. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate it. Well, speaking of prospecting, what goes in line with what Frank was discussing, I wanted to briefly talk about seizing every opportunity. Whether you're door knocking, open house, or floor time, every opportunity, or even these holidays gatherings, if you have it, in your mind that you're going to prospect there, I mean, you can still enjoy your family and friends and the whole holiday spirit and stuff, but you can still have a pin on you. You can wear a Coldwell Banker or a shirt that indicates that you're a realtor, because people are going to talk about the rates, homes, the economy, the industry, but you want to be involved in that conversation and stuff. So you can do both. You can enjoy your family, friends, and the function, but also utilize it for adding to your sphere of influence, and then also touching your sphere of influence, which those are all your family and friends that gather together and stuff. But on top of that, we recently had some agents that we got a lot of business through door knocking, but this is consistent door knocking. Also, we just had an agent that got a buyer for a listing from another agent that had a listing here that wasn't able to do an open house. So they seized the opportunity and they got a buyer, and everything's going smoothly. It should close within the next week or so. And then more recently than that, an agent got a listing from Floor Time here, so you never know when you're going to get the next deal. But if you get anything from this point, it's just seizing every opportunity. Take every opportunity that is handed to you or presented to you, and you can capitalize on maximizing your business and stuff. Before I go forward on anything, I wanted to just give a little insight on what's happening right now for all, because we're in the holidays right now, and I want to make sure that all our agents and everybody here on Zoom is being safe. There's been a lot of theft, shopping theft lately. I'm hearing more and more. There's purse snatching, but what they're doing is they're just observing people that are going to the malls or places of where people shop, and they're waiting to see if there's like more than anything, females that are alone. And they'll actually follow that person to their home. And then once they get out of their house, they take their purse and all their presents and all that. So just be careful, make sure you're aware of your surroundings. If you can, do your shopping during daylight and not during the evening hours. But if you do have to go in the evening hours, go in numbers, take a friend or two, don't be alone. But if you are alone, just make sure when you get home, if you're not parking into your driveway, or your garage that's attached to your home, and you're gonna exit out, just make sure you're aware of your surroundings and there's no other vehicles or people that you don't know of that are there and stuff, or maybe have someone come out of the home and help you and stuff if there are someone there. But it's happening a lot, and it's going to get even worse as we get to the peak of the holiday shopping and stuff. So just wanted to put that out because I do want to make sure everybody is safe during this holiday season. Okay. That being said, a couple of shout outs. I think that's all the affiliates, right? Yes, I believe so. Okay. Couple of shout outs for birthdays: Harrison Yao, Rafael Cortez, and Nicole Chen. Happy birthday to you guys this week. And then a couple of reminders. This Friday, we're going to have a training. It's going to be with Greyhawk Insurance. His name is Keaton. So it should be good if you have the time. I know everybody's still on holiday mode, but he's going to go over a lot of topics regarding HOI, homeowners insurance. Okay. I believe that Peter, he also has a portfolio program.
Yes.
I'm not entirely sure of it, but it's a portfolio program that is not like typical through, your standard policies and stuff. So it's good food for thought for future buyers, knowing that there's a portfolio program available for those that have problems getting the homeowners insurance. So that's this Friday at 10 a.m. Okay. Aside from that, work on your holiday campaigns. Okay. You remember you're marketing yourself for business. Okay. You're a marketer more than a realtor. You have to market yourself. If nobody knows that you're doing real estate, what good is it? Right. So what better during the holidays? So make sure you have your holiday campaign ready to go for the next couple of holidays that are coming up. And that's about it. Let me hand it over to Doug for the new business for Arcadia. There he is. Hey, Doug.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
I
Doug.
just want to recap something. Maria said everything is a relationship. That is so true. Frank said contact, and follow up. That's so true. And what Ruben said about you never know where the business is coming from. I mean, I've been I put up flyers one time at a house, and the next door neighbor came over and said, I want to list my house with you, because I know you working on that. I mean, I'm at a car wash. I ended up getting 3 sales that year just because the lady walked up to me and asked me for my business card. You guys just be out there. Be out there. I mean, and this time of year is awesome. Awesome time to keep in contact with people, past clients, friends, potential clients, relatives, neighbors, whatever, Anyway, hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving. Here in Arcadia, we have some listings, but it seems to be leases a lot. Shirley Guerrera had 4 leases, 3 of them in Almonte, a 3-bedroom for $3,300, a 2-bedroom for $2,500, a 1-bedroom for $2,000, and also one in Arcadia on Linrose, a 3-bedroom for $3,100. Wendy Lee also has a lease on Rose Court in Azusa, 4-bedroom, 3-bath for $3,680. And now for a sale, if you're ready for this, 2 units in LA, a 3-bedroom and a 2-bedroom, total price $560. It's near 23rd and 25th Street in LA on Wall Street. Arthur He has his listing, $560 for 2 units, fully occupied. So that's not too bad. On some sales, I don't know what happened over the weekend yet, but I will tell you that Lauren had one in Orange for $738. Another agent had 6 units in LA for $1,250,000. Sharon Chow had a lease in Monterey Park, $2,875. And Suki, I know a couple days ago, or right before Thanksgiving, had a sale in Valencia. She had the buyer, $765, $850. So what a great time of year to go out and prospect. You're not asking people necessarily for business, but just you're staying in touch. Keep in touch. Contact and follow up, and have fun with it. I mean, this could be really a lot of fun, guys. Frank, you're a great teacher, man. Thanks for all your advice, and Ruben too. So anyway, that's it from Arcadia. Thank you, guys.
All right, Doug, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, you know, and when you're, I know a lot of agents don't want to bring up, you know, buying or selling during the, you know, their family event stuff, but there's soft touches that you can do too. Just kind of put your name out there as far as, oh, you know, about real estate and stuff like that and stuff. So you don't have to really try to sell yourself and stuff. There's a way to do it softly and stuff. So, but the most important is just talking. Don't be that silent agent, okay? All right, new business for Alhambra. We don't have a whole lot, but we have 2 new escrows, 2 new sales in Alhambra. Tomas Wong, congratulations. You have a new sale in Monterey Park for 1.230. And Sylvia Roche, she has a new sale in San Bernardino at 555. So congratulations to those 2 agents. That's all I have for today. So I am going to hand it over to Peter for his weekly update. Peter, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Ruben. Good morning, Banker George. I hope you had a nice weekend. It was, you know, the weather was very nice, and I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving also. You know, you would think that the price of the turkey, because of inflation, it will be higher this year, right? But you know, surprisingly, it's substantially lower this year for some reason. I don't know why, you know. But that's you know, we can have a break. But anyway, the honey baked ham is still pricey though, you know. So anyway, I had a very nice Thanksgiving. I hope you did too. It's a time for family and friends to get together and celebrate the Thanksgiving mood. Okay, I hope you're doing well in your business, and I would like to share something with you today. Oh, what happened? Ruben, can you enable?
Are you not able to share?
I wasn't able to.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. Well, there's you know, conflicting signals up in the market. They're thinking that the Fed will lower the interest rate, but then just you know, over the weekend I heard that the inflation is creeping up again. So I don't know what the Fed is going to do. They're going to have a meeting in December, which is December 12th, I think. 12 and 13, and you know, it'd be interesting about what they think about the inflation and also the interest rate. But hopefully they will lower the interest rate, because the real estate is really suffering, and you know, we are in the brink of going into the recession. So we need a little bit of help from the Fed. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. But anyway, you know, it seems like the mortgage rate has stabilized a little bit, right, Frank? So that's a good news, you know. So yeah,
You should be good, Peter. Try it.
okay, all right. Let's share my screen. Yeah. Okay. Ever since the Burnett versus NAR lawsuit, a lot of agents asking me about the buyer representation agreements and whether they should use it routinely, or is it mandatory, or it's you know, why do we want to use it and how do we use it? So I'm going to share a little bit with you how to use the buyer's representation agreement. Now, you know, before you use the representation agreement, you should understand why you are using what's the purpose of for you to use the buyer's representation agreement. Well, for one thing, that you need to have the buyer to be as committed to you as you are to him. or to them. Right now, if you don't have a buyer representation agreement, you're under their mercy. They can terminate your service anytime they want, and you will not get the commissions that is due you after all the hard work, because there's no commitment for them to pay you, and also they can change the representation anytime they want. They can go down the street and find another agent to represent them, and all your hard work and will be wasted. So you really want to have a contract them that, hey, since I am committed to you, you should have a little bit commitment to me also. And then you want to have a contract with them to delineate all the duties and obligations between the two parties. And also you can clarify the obligation of the seller in the commission sharing so that the transaction is more transparent. As you know that after the lawsuit, a lot of the lawyers are after the agents and so that they will if they are overcharging or they are not transparent about the transaction of their price fixing the commission, they can have a cause of action to go after the agent. So you don't want to have that happen. So by having a buyer representation agreement, you have everything pretty transparent, and then you also give you the effort to saying to the seller that, hey, nothing, you are not obligated to pay the buyer's agent, and then everything is negotiable. The commission is not set in stone, and it can be negotiable. So that will also avoid the unnecessary lawsuit as well. Now, why should the buyer agree to sign the buyer representation agreement? Well, it's a two-edged sword. If you want the buyer to commit to you, and also the buyer wants you to be committed to them. So by having a buyer representation agreement, the buyer can be certain that you really put your heart into the deal. You try your best, your expertise to get the best deal for them. And also, most of the buyer has no out-of-pocket cost to pay the buyer's representative, because most of the time, most likely the seller is going to pay for the whole transaction, for including the buyer's agents. So there's really no out-of-pocket expense to them. And also by giving them having a contract, the buyer will try the best to get every possible lead and get the best price for the buyer. And also when the market condition change, as you see that the lawsuit, the Burnett versus NAR, it will be fundamentally change the practice of real estate, and pretty soon everything has to be in writing, and everything has to be transparent. Everything has to be a contractual obligation to each other. So the buyer's representation agreement is here to stay, and the sooner that the buyer and the agents can get used to it, the better it will be for everybody involved. So there are 6 different types of buyer representation agreement. The main one is the buyer representation and the broker's compensation agreement, which is BRBC. Second one is buyer transactional advisory, BTA. And the third one is anticipated broker's compensation disclosure, ABCD. The fourth one is cancellation of buyer representation, COBR. And the fifth one is the notice of of broker involved property and BIP. And the last one is the seller payment to buyers brokers, SPBB. I'll go through a little bit of it, each one of them. The first one is the most important one is, of course, the buyer representation and brokers compensation agreement, which is a BRBC. Now this one we have replaced the old one, which the 3 old ones that they replaced incorporate everything into one agreement. It replaced the exclusive buyer representation agreement, which is BRE, the non-exclusive buyer representation agreement, which is BRNE, and the non-exclusive not for compensation buyer representation agreement, which is BRNN. And so that those are the 3 agreements that the BRBC replaced. The new form, however, does not have the not for compensation option though. So in the paragraph 1 of the BRBC, it has instead of having the agreement end on a date certain, you have a period which lasts for the number of days specified, which is about the same thing. No big deal, you know. In paragraph 4B1, it falls into the non-exclusive representation. In other words, the buyer does not have to commit to have the agents exclusively represent them. They can have other buyer's agents as well. So that is the default. But of course, you can certify that, you can require that the buyer will have exclusive representation, which is stipulated in the paragraph 4B2, and which means that no matter where the buyers or which property the buyer ended up buying, and the agent will still get the commission even though they are not involved with that particular property. Well, of course, being an agent, you would like to have that exclusive representation, but it has been mutually negotiated. And again, the default is the non-exclusive. Also, if you want the exclusive representation, you have to particularly check that box for B2 in order to get the exclusive representation. And then the paragraph 4C allowed either the buyer or broker or the broker to cancel the agreement. 4D, retains the language from previous buyer representation contracts that credits against the buyer's compensation obligation any of the payments that the buyer's broker received from the seller's broker or seller. Or in other words, anything that they get from other sources, it will be credited to the buyer's obligation to pay. So and most of the time it ended up that the seller will pay for the total total commission anyway. And then paragraph 4D3, that's the paragraph that authorized the broker to include a term in the offer asking the seller to pay for the buyer's broker. In other words, they would disclose and authorize the brokers to negotiate their commission from the seller to pay for the buyer's agent. Paragraph 4F is obligated the buyer's broker to disclose to the buyer the kind of commission that the broker expects to obtain from other sources for that particular property, and also they have to disclose to the buyer the final compensation that the broker actually received. So there is it has to be very transparent, and the agent cannot double dip on the commission. In other words, they cannot try to get the commission from the seller and also at the same time get the commission from the buyer. That's called double dipping. It's not allowed. And the second buyer's representation form is a buyer's transactional advisory, which is BTA. This form is automatically bundled with the BRBC, and that tells you that gives the buyer more information about the agent's duty and responsibility, and also the things that the buyer needs to be taken care of. So it's just automatic bundle into the BRBC. And the third one is the anticipated broker's compensation disclosure. This one that tells you how much exactly the buyer's agent is getting the commission from. It's a 3-part form. The part 1 advises by the seller's payment of compensation will be will direct or indirect will have impact on the price of the seller that the seller will accept. So that is just a disclosure responsibility. Part 2 is that the buyer's broker will disclose to the buyer on a property by property basis and the compensation promised brokers through the MLS or elsewhere. In other words, if the MLS stipulate 2% that they should get from the seller, then this part 2 specifies where is it coming from and how much the rate, and so that the buyers will be adequately informed. Part 3 is where the buyer's broker disclose the final compensation received. In other words, they have to disclose exactly how much the total commission is that the agents has received from any sources. And the next one is the cancellation of buyer representation, which is COBR. And also this is a 2-part form. The part 1 is that's where the buyer or broker gives the notice the cancellation to each other. In other words, if the buyer and the agent both can have the right to cancel the contract. Of course, a signature is required in part 1 in order to get it for it to be valid. In paragraph 3 of the form will identify the compensation that would be due to the the broker, and it will refer you back to the BRBC to the RPA also, and whatever the agent and the commissions that you receive from any sources will be identified here. And the compensation options, other options include from 3B, so is for the just expenses incurred, and 3C is for the brokers receiving a referral fee, or 3D is brokers getting paid from the seller, or 3E, no compensation at all. So all those are the options that you can check, and in order to disclose it to the buyers what exactly you are getting your commission from, and what those commission or expenses are for, So, and the next note is that the buyer's representation, the agreement is the notice of broker involved properties. Now, this is very important because if you spend a lot of time involved in trying to get a deal or working on the property to making an offer for the buyer, and if it doesn't materialize, and then you want to have the property identified, so that later on, if the buyer come back and try to buy the property, which you have worked on, you better put it in that form. That this will adequately protect you from being overlooked. If they want to get other agent to offer the property for the same property that you've been working on, and you are supposed to be entitled for the reasonable commission. So, but you have to identify all the property. Otherwise, how would how would the buyer know? So by using this form, you identify exactly what property you've been working on and what kind of commission you deserve, and whether it's exclusive or non-exclusive. Okay, so this is you know, if I were you, I would really diligent in getting that notice of a broker involved property signed by the buyer. And then the last one is SPBB, which is the seller payment for the buyer's broker. If the RPA 3G3 is checked, this one will be used to identify the amount of compensation the buyer is asking the seller to pay for the buyer's broker. And so that it's transparent, the buyer's broker will not receive double payment. So that is the protection for both the broker and the buyer. So now you can use, but you know, in order for the buyer to accept your proposal, you should emphasize to the buyer to why they should you know, sign the representation form. Well, you should emphasize to them that the form is that you know, actually is a contractual agreement for both to protect each other's interests. So, you know, by signing the agreement, you'll be committed to the buyer, and the buyer will be committed to the agents in all the anticipated real estate transactions. So and also tell them that any compensation that you receive from anywhere or from the seller will be credited against the buyer's obligation to pay. So the buyer will not you know, pay extra for that. And it will be most of the time the buyer may not have to pay anything at all. So that is an important point that you should stress to the buyer. And also the term of the agreement may be as long or as short as both party agree. You know, you can have your own terms and conditions, and it's very flexible. And the scope of the agreement can be as broad or as narrow as you want. You know, it can be any property, or you can be just a one single family residence property. You know, so this you can really pinpoint which property you want to get involved and which one you want to that you don't want to get involved. And also the buyer's agreement can be modified by mutual agreement. In other words, anytime that that the agent or the buyer wants to modify, they can modify it freely. So anybody you know, it will not be really you know, it's not set in stone. That's what I'm trying to say. So you know, it can be very flexible. And also signing agreement is very common for professional services. You know, like when you're employed a lawyer to work for you, you have to sign the retainer agreement. When you want a CPA to work for you, you also have to sign some agreement. Or you know, it's really a very standard form in any professional services. So real estate agent by themselves are professional too. So this is a very valid professional service agreement. So nothing extraordinary about it. So and the last question we ask is you know, after all, are these buyer representation agreement enforceable? You know, because we never use it or we don't use it very often in the real estate industry, but it's getting more and more popular, and I can show you it is here to stay. You know, so you might as well get used to it and you know, use it, and it's really good for your protection as well as for the buyer's protection. And the answer to the question whether it's enforceable is definitely yes. And the court has already in 2008 case of Schaefer versus Creative Capital Leasing Group LLC, it already had a precedent that that is enforceable, and you can be safe using it, and you can be assured that is in case of some dispute happen, it will help you a lot in any of the lawsuits. So okay, so use it, and make good use of it, and it's for the benefit of both you and your client. Okay, all right, that's all for today. And any question, please let me know.
This is Jeffrey. Yeah. Good morning, Peter. Yeah, this is a new enforceable. Just like our company now is trying to encourage us to use all this BRBC. So
Yes.
can we request a detailed, Michelle and Ruben, can we request a detailed 1 hour class to
The training?
to training to really how to complete this correctly, so we can, there's so many forms,
There are 6 forms. It's pretty easy to use. I know I went very fast, how to introducing those
Correct.
6 forms, but yeah, I think it's a good idea. What do you think, Ruben?
Peter, yeah, we already have that. Michelle and I already have that scheduled in for the first of the year. So we're not sure. We're not sure of the exact date, but it'll either be in late January or early February that we're going to be going over it. I think it's mid-January, but we have that already scheduled in the books, Jeff.
Yeah,
Oh,
great.
okay.
Yeah, because you're great, because I believe that, a lot of a new brokerages right now, I heard are encouraging their realtors to really start this process, and we don't want to be late in implementing this process. And I appreciate that. Yeah, we need to do this to be prepared and be competitive. Thank you, Ruben.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
welcome.
sure.
So you look out for 2 trainings that are going to be upcoming, not till the first of the year. One is going to be the CRMLS violations, the most common ones in our region. Okay,
Mhm.
so that way you know what to not do, because some of these violations will not come with a warning, and they're steep violations. Okay, so we're going to go over that, and then we're also going to schedule in the new forms as Peter just indicated right now. So Michelle and I have not confirmed the dates, but I think we scheduled one for mid-January and the other one for February. We might want to just put them both in January, but we don't know yet. But just look out for them, okay?
Thank you. Great. Thank you, Ruben.
Michelle, did you
I
want to
have
add
a
something?
question.
Oh,
Oops.
it's
Oh,
okay.
no, I'm good. I'm ready when you guys are ready for the training. We'll get a date and figure it out. No problem.
Okay, Carla, you have a question?
I do. Peter or Ruben, have you heard any discussions about the lenders potentially making the agent's closing cost part of the buyer's or part of the buyer's closing cost?
What? No, I don't think that's.
I haven't heard anything about that
They
either.
can't. The lenders can't mandate that. They're
No, it would be, I would think that it would be the buyer's request for the lender to include that, not for them to just, oh, your closing cost is going to be this, but the buyers to request financing or that to be part of their financing.
Oh, I
Or
get it.
maybe a small loan for that, because a buyer, maybe a first time buyer, they don't probably have 20 or 30,000 sitting around. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, they're using everything they have to purchase the property.
Yeah.
Carla, we're not there yet,
Yes.
and hopefully we don't get there. Because having the buyers come up with their own, having the buyers come up with to pay for the buyer's agent's commission, I don't think that's going to work, because it's going to put a lot of first-time home buyers out of the equation to purchase a
It
home.
will, yes. And even
So-
some experienced buyers, they're not gonna
Right,
wanna
yeah.
do that.
And I don't think financing that is gonna help because it's just gonna add to their debt. So
Mm, yeah.
we're all curious to see how this is gonna pan out, and unfortunately,
Mhm.
it's gonna take at least a couple of years for it to figure it out. But I'm very optimistic that the landscape of real estate in California will kind of stay the same. Now, just
Mhm.
keep in mind, remember, the biggest factor here is transparency, it's disclosure.
I agree.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if a seller is willing to pay for a buyer's agent's commission, as long as the listing agent discloses that from the agreed commission, let's just call it 5%, right?
Right, right.
Carla, you're the seller. From the 5% that we agreed, Carla, I just want you to know that I am gonna offer 2.5, half of my commission to the buyer's agents so that they can bring buyers to purchase your home. That's gonna help market the property, because if you don't do that, nobody's gonna bring their buyers to the table. So by you disclosing that on a seller's part, then you're being transparent, you're disclosing. The seller really has no leverage to say, hey, you didn't tell me that I was buying the buyer's commission. Yes, you did, because you signed it.
It's in writing, yeah.
It's in writing, but it's important that you fill out the listing agreement completely, because a lot of agents only put in the 5% that's agreed upon between the two parties. Remember, everything's negotiable, okay?
Right.
Below that, there's a portion that says, of that 5%, how much are you gonna market and give to the buyer's agent? If you not only fill that in, but also explain it to the seller, you're limiting the potential liability there. In
Right.
addition to that, on the buyer's part, if you as a buyer's agent, if you put into your contract saying that the seller is, just add it. Everything's gonna revert back to the MLS or whatever's in the MLS. But why not put another layer of well, how can I put it? Another layer of protection for yourself.
Protection, right,
And put
right.
it in the RPA saying that the seller is going to be paying the buyer's agents or brokerages commission based on the MLS at a rate of 2.5%.
It's been like that for 100 years, and all of a sudden it's a lawsuit of billions of dollars. That doesn't make sense. Those agents should be
right.
liable, not NAR or their
Well,
offices.
You're absolutely correct, Carla. That's why if you're transparent, you explain to your sellers and buyers and how this is gonna work, there's no reason for lawsuits, because everybody's agreed upon how this transaction is gonna work.
Right, right.
Yeah, you know,
Okay,
Carla,
thank you.
Carla, realistically, the lender knows that the money that they lend to the buyer includes the commission, either from the seller or from the buyer, you know. So pretty soon they are going to realize that, okay, well, no, doesn't matter, you know, as long as the LTV will justify the loan, they will lend the money.
Right, this is
Yeah,
true.
so
Yeah.
you know, sooner or later they have to adjust their thinking, you know.
Peter, can I add a comment? Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are not reinventing the wheel in doing the right way of creating the listing agreement. So as long as we do the right way of peeling those listing agreement, with the compensation both the seller and the buyers, we are not reinventing that. So what is new right now, as far as I understand, is the creation of and completing this BRBC and other reforms right now that we right?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, just so CAR does a pretty good job with their forms. Just fill it out completely. That's it. And I think you'll be, and then also just be transparent with your buyer or seller as to how the transaction is going to transpire. And that's all you can really do. So I think this lawsuit is frivolous. But nonetheless, we have to wait and see how it's gonna, the outcome's gonna come out, and also how it's gonna affect our landscape our industry's landscape over here in California, right, Peter?
Yeah, and regardless what the lawsuit ends up, the buyer's representation agreement is here to stay, so you must well get used to it.
Even think about this, Carla, just to answer your question. Even if things change, remember the transaction's negotiable. So if Peter's a seller and I'm telling the seller to, okay, I'm bringing this buyer, but if I bring this buyer, you're going to pay my commission of 2%. That's still legal. As long as the seller agrees to pay your commission, it can still, the transactions can still transpire the same exact way.
Right.
It's negotiable.
Right. Yep. And
All
it's in the contract. And
But
it's
nobody knows
explained.
exactly. Explain. That's it. But nobody
Yeah.
really knows. So let's just not make drastic changes or anything. Just be transparent with your clients.
Yeah.
And then let's see how everything unfolds in the next year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Any more questions?
Peter, last question, Jeffrey.
Roger, yes.
Yeah, I know there is already a judgment on that case. Now I understand there is an appeal process on that. So what do you think about the future? On the appeal, what do you think can
The
happen in 2 years? Yeah, on the appeal on that case.
Well, I think they're going to have a settlement. Believe it or not, they will have a settlement on the amount of the verdict. They'll have a settlement, and it depends on also DOJ also. The DOJ already had comment that they're going to get involved. So it all depends on what the feedback from the DOJ is like. So there's a lot of moving parts. I don't have a crystal ball, but there it's not the end of the lawsuit yet. So yeah, we just have to keep our eyes open. Does that
This
answer
is
your
David
question?
Ewan. I just want to say that I had a recent experience that emphasized how important what Peter Kam's presentation today of a broker buyer representation agreement right up front, because I learned a very valuable lesson. I had someone approach me 30 days ago urgently asking me to help them, and I thought this person was a reliable, trustworthy person, and I got all the opportunities for a lease agreement for what he wanted, and I drove him on the first day 150 miles looking at all the opportunities. And then what I found out, he was competing against me because the MLS system offers exactly what he wanted from $2,000 to $2,200 a month. But there are a lot of opportunities that do not pay commissions at $1,800 to $2,000 a month or $200 of savings. And he said to me, I'm going to get my lease on my own. I'm going to kick you out. I said, wait a minute, I'm already representing you.
Mhm.
He said, well, you need to know, he said, you need to know that you needed to get the buyer broker representation agreement signed by me before we got started. You didn't do that, David. So I'm free to go on my own. Sayonara. And this is someone who represented and come from highly regarded references. And I was shocked. So I lost out, and I spent a lot of money trying to help him. But boy, oh boy, in the future, I'm going to get that buyer broker representation agreement signed before I start any work. So
Yeah,
I just want
you have
you
a
to
very
know,
valid point, David. Yeah, you're right. Definitely right. Get it on the paper, so that and when that's dispute, you have the contract to go by, and the buyer cannot shortchange you.
well, he made all the representations that he was a trustworthy customer and that I could count on him. But
Yeah, but when it
found
comes to
out-
money,
yeah, when he got down to money, he opted to knock me out. So
yeah.
I can definitely say I have learned from the school of hard knocks.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions? If not, I'll go back to Ruben. Ruben?
Last question to Ruben.
Yes,
Jeffrey. Ruben?
yes,
Yeah, on this BRBC, the same thing with the listing agreement. There is a anticipated expirations. What do you suggest? How many days can we ask put there for the buyer, presentation for us to put the expiration days? 30 days, 60 days. What in your idea? What's your feedback?
well, first and foremost, know that they don't need to sign it. It's, if they don't sign it, are you gonna not represent them? That's a risk that you have to take. And second, it's negotiable, obviously for an agent's perspective, you want more time, right? How long is it gonna take for you to find that house for them? So you need to discuss it with them, on the listing, you like to get at least 6 months. Well, maybe match that with your buyer and stuff, but it's negotiable, if you can get a year's time, that you're locked in for a year, but realistically, what will they sign? So it's negotiable. All right.
All right.
All right, folks. That's all we have for today. I thank you for attending. We had a very good attendance today, given the fact that it's the holiday and everybody's getting over their turkey and ham and stuff. So I appreciate you guys coming, and I wish you well. All right. All right, guys.
All right.
I'll see you next time.
Everybody have a nice week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.